Neevesknives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara is at work, and today we are doing a live freehand sharpening on the Gale Bradley. Turn this down. Oh, we already have people in here. What's up, Whisper, Mr. Blower, and Paul? I'm just gonna hit it right off. So I'm gonna do the sharpening on the Neeves stones. This is M4. I talked to a couple people because I've only done a little bit of M4. I haven't done a whole bunch of it. And I heard that it can pretty much take whatever edge, but BJ Hill said that he gets his best results, 1500 grit and under. These stones go up to 2000. So I think it's 2000. Or no, 1200, sorry. I don't know why I said 2000. 1200. So I'll see how 1200's doing. I was gonna do it on my Splash and Go Super Stones. They go up to 5K, but these are diamond infused. So the Neeves stones, whoever doesn't know about the Neeves stones, these are diamond infused stones. So they wear very, very slow. So that's why they're so expensive. These are not cheap stones. They're very, very expensive. And as much as I like them, that was one reason why I wasn't going to do a live with them, because I was kind of worried that, a lot of people don't have them, so they're not going to be able to relate. But just know that you can use any stone to sharpen with. You can use aluminum oxide. You can use diamonds. Some stones cut faster than others, and some cut certain steels a little bit better, but they will all sharpen. All of them will work. I sharpen my Gale Bradley 2 to 1000 grit. Cuts amazing. Yeah, I'm going to see at 800, because my favorite grit, in all honesty, is between 6 and 800 grit. I love that kind of edge. But that's not saying that I don't like certain steels at a higher grit, like M390 and 20 CV when it's done right. I like taking it up to 5000. And then also another time when I really like to take it high is like on a convexed. Like I've never really liked a mirror polished edge on like S35 or S30V unless if it was a convex edge. There was a couple times then, and like I got my Elementum right now in S35. It's at 5000 grit, and it's fine. It's sharp, it cuts really good, but it doesn't have a lot of bite. Not as much as I'd like. So, these stones, you want to have like a conditioning stone. I found that this red Lansky stone works really good, and basically conditioning is just when you're sharpening the steel, and that's just on these Neeves, just so we're clear. It will clog the pores basically and like make like a film over it. So what you want to do is you want to basically start, put the other conditioning stone on top of here and expose the diamonds back up. This is just water. I might move you guys around a little bit if you guys can't see that well. It looks like you guys can see pretty damn good though. I've already conditioned it the last time because I usually make sure they're nice and clean. While sharp or after I'm done sharpening. Let's move this over here so it doesn't shake and fall. The problem with the super stones is that they do take a lot of maintenance. You got to constantly flatten them, constantly clean them. You got to let them dry a certain way. Anyone other than me try wet, dry sandpaper. I'm sure that would work. Oh, you talking about for sharpening? I mean, it'll work. I just don't think the edge will be like as good as you could get, right? It's still going to be sharp. It'll still work just as fine. You got to think that's like what they use on production knives, like factory edges. That's basically what it is. It's just a sandpaper edge. Most of my knives, I take the 4K non-stainless seams to work better at lower grits. Yeah, like I said, some steels I do take higher. Like the highest I like to go on like most of my knives is like 2K, you know, between 1200 and 2K. But and then under certain circumstances, I'll go up to 5K and do a mirrored edge. But that's not like all of my knives. Now, I have cut myself a couple times. It's crazy because as soon as I plan a live freehand sharpening, then I went up cutting myself on both hands. Ridiculous, right? The world is against me. Pocket check. I got right now Eric _4 _EDC. This is actually the knife that cut me on this hand. The 940 with the reblade. I'm checking it out because I'm getting ready to do the review on it with compared to my 940. Let's get this started. Now the one problem, sorry, I mean to just freeze up and stop, but the one problem that I find with it is that they don't really give you too much meat here. If you try to lay back the edge, you need to cut in a choil because, I mean, I guess you could just go straight up the path of the blade and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But they don't give you a lot of room, you know, just like a lot of Spydercos. So it's something I'm just going to have to be careful of. If you guys have a hard time seeing what I'm doing, I will move the camera down. I got it set up where I can lower it fairly easy. That's already looking really good. Hey bro, I'm about to sharpen on video myself. This is funny. You gonna do a recording? Yeah, that tends to be a lot easier than a live. Live sometimes, man, they just they're hit and miss because the camera quality for a live is nowhere near as good as if I'm filming. Like if I'm just doing a regular film. Because I can't zoom in, I can't pause, I can't do anything and get different angles. So, but what I can do on the live is I can sit here and talk to you guys, and if you guys have any questions, I can show you guys. My knives are about 20 feet away. That's too far. Yeah, you gotta get them bitches closer. Pretty much no matter where I'm at, there's always a knife somewhere. Like, to do this video, I had to move the 5 knives I had sitting here. I usually keep a rag on my lap just to keep the blade clear. You know, a lot of people said that these Neeves stones didn't cut very fast, and that's true and not true. Like, they're not as fast as just solid diamond, but of course not. But they do cut relatively quick. But what I do notice, though, and I am going to be doing a review on the Neeves stones, is that they're finer. So, like, 400 grit Neeves is like almost like an 800 grit diamond. Like, if that makes sense. Like, just raw diamond. I know this is diamond, too, but, you know, just diamond, like diamond plates. We have a burr all the way up and down. My bevel looks nice and even, but there's a couple places that it has not hit yet. Like at the top of the bevel. And that's another thing, like, if I was just filming this, I could show you guys that. I can't show you guys that when we're live. I've seen other people doing their lives trying to show that stuff. It never works out. It just winds up being a bunch of fuckery. That's the one thing I would like to get to the live ability. Yeah, it's fun. It is. I like, excuse me, I like to do lives. And originally, when I first started doing lives, I just did them like sporadically. Like there was no rhyme or reason. I just would go live whenever. And I found that that was not smart. Nobody knew when to join. And now I got the scheduled thing. The problem with the scheduled thing, it's not a problem, but you got to do it, right? Like there's, like no ifs, ands, or buts. That's what you got to do. Doesn't matter how tired you are. Doesn't matter if, if I worked 8 hours and worked out in the morning and I'm tired, I'm still doing my damn life. But I like to be like that though, consistent, like especially with what I say. Normally, I don't like to keep food or drinks up here aside from like my water bottle because it's closed because I have stropping compound and stuff. And just if you guys don't know, stropping compound can lead to cancer. So you want to keep that away from your food. If after you're done stropping, make sure you clean your shit. I know I mess up from time to time, and I always think in the back of my head like, oh man, I know I got cancer. If anybody's got cancer, I got cancer, especially now. And I'm not like joking about cancer. I just mean like that I'm like the most like frugal person with the stropping compounds and stuff, knowing what it can do. Just so, because this is pretty rough on the stone right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ceramic rod. I'm just going to hit that burr off really quick because I have a lot more sharpening to do, so it's not going to hurt. That just knocked off the burr. So that I'm not scratching the stone, because otherwise those burrs wear down your stone faster. So it's just a way to keep your stone going a little bit longer than if you didn't. My feet are moving. This is another reason why I love diamond stones, man. Not like I'm talking about just diamond plates, is because you don't have the water, you don't have the slipping, you don't have the mess. You can just do it dry. I like doing it dry, and then I can just wipe it off. Wipe it off. Now, I've taught people before the marking your finger trick. If you notice, I'm not marking my finger on this because I don't really have to anymore. But one thing I do, and I don't always do this, but a lot of times I do it, especially if I want to make sure I get a perfect bevel. So what I'll do, hey Zach, I don't have a bell, ding 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 ding, thanks bud, getting pumped. What the hell was I talking about? Yeah, so what I do is I take and I'll lay my thumb down and I'll pick a spot in the middle of my thumb, but I also pick a spot on the blade. So like right now I'm using the top of this flat right here, okay? So that's where my fingers are going to go every single time on both sides. And if I did it in the beginning, I'm going to make sure I do it from here on forward. So I can feel where the knife is hitting the middle of my thumb. And even after I switch sides, I can still kind of feel where it was, like the indentation. So I stay right there. Then when I go to check my blade and I pick it up, I can still feel it. And there's still an indentation right there, even though the mark's not there from the marker. Now in the beginning, it's good to just mark it because it helps you keep it very consistent. Because it's easy to, because just the slightest little bit makes it inconsistent. Like if I change something that you don't even notice, like it almost feels like you didn't even change anything, that it's the exact same, but it can be different just from a degree, which almost seems like nothing to you, but it is when it comes to making a bevel even or matching it. Like meaning picking it up now and now me laying right back down and matching the exact same bevel. Now sometimes you're not going to match it perfectly, so what you want to do is just make sure you do enough swipes that you lay it back flat from changing it a little bit. Like right now I can see two different angles from the factory and then mine, and mine's working its way up. So I'm going to wait till that's completely gone. Then switch sides. But if I lay it back down and I'm not completely flat where I was before, then I'll just keep working at basically like the angle I'm holding right now, so that it makes it completely flat. I'm not going to try to just match up the first one I started if it's not that big of a difference, I'm saying. Like if it's just ever so slightly. And I'm talking about little tiny details right now. Like details that people that are just beginning shouldn't really even worry about. What do you lube your 6 stones with? Curious. I'm being told if you use straight honing oil on like a natural stone, you can't use water. No, you can, but you can't. Like, so if you, and I'm answering EDC Journey's question right now, if you have natural stones or aluminum oxide and you started using honing oil, you should pretty much just keep using honing oil forever. Now, if you do want to switch to just Dawn and soap, you're going to have to soak it in degreaser for a few days. You want to soak it and get all that oil out of it. Oh yeah, and boil it too. Boil it in hot water in degreaser. So get a concentrated version, like Purple Power, stuff like that. A heavy degreaser, a very concentrated version of it, and then soak it and boil it. And you're going to probably do that a few times. And that's why it winds up taking a lot of work. That's why a lot of people just say you can't do it. Because now if you try to use the Dawn and soap, it won't like penetrate the stone to get the steel fibers up. So I got a cut right here across this thumb, right where I'm putting it. And then I got a cut right there. This one's opening up on me right now. I got some of this liquid new skin. Liquid bandage. We'll make sure we keep coating it up. Let that dry for a second. Stuff burns, man. It does burn. Especially if your cut's opened up like mine is right now. We're just gonna have to wait a second for this to dry. Otherwise, I was gonna start bleeding. So both my bevels are looking really good. They were pretty consistent from the start, which is crazy because I'm gonna say this right now: Spyderco sucks at doing even bevels. I don't think I've seen one Spyderco that was a good even bevel on both sides. This one was close, but every other Spyderco I've seen, not one from the factory has had an even bevel. One side will be really tiny and thin, and the other side will be really big. And I'm not talking about like little tiny details. Like this one was good because it was pretty good. Like it wasn't like really bad. Whoa, Zach! Hey, bud, thank you. Man, using a whetstone in the onion lesson sharpener. Thank you, Zach. But Spyderco, they will be like way off, like way the fuck off. I'm talking about like, not even close. Like you almost look at it like, what were you thinking when you were on the belt sharpener? Like I said, this one was pretty decent. It wasn't perfect, but it was good, which I don't ask for perfect. I never ask for perfect. When you see perfect bevels and, you know, from the factory, man, that's a blessing. That is such a blessing, because then when you resharpen it, it's not going to take as much work or effort or anything like that. And the problem is that instead of doing, like, say, one sharpening and getting it out, it's going to take a few sharpenings to make that thing even or to get it perfect. Or you can just not care, you know. Like, not everybody gives a shit. Like, some people, you know, it's like, as long as it's sharp, that's all I care about. And I don't blame them. I mean, I get a little OCD sometimes about it, but you don't have to be. There's nothing wrong with just having a sharp edge. I will try standing. CDC journey. Yeah, some people do better standing than they do sitting. Like right now, I'm in the dumbest position I could be in. I'm in a swivel chair that also goes up and down. What a moron! I should. You want to be in a flat base, like just perfectly still, no movement, and I'm all over the place. But sometimes it does kind of help me, because what I'll do is I'll take my feet and I'll smack them back and forth like I am right now, and like I'll get on the thing and I'll just like rock it back and forth. Depends on how much you care, you know, or like how good you can hold it, because eventually you start getting good at noticing the little differences, like if you have it nice and flat, if you've moved, or if you've changed angles. Like right now, my biggest issue is I need to match my tip up a little bit better. So that's what I'm trying to do by doing my one strokes, because I'm trying to evenly pull up. So I'm going across the stone, and then when I'm getting towards here, so like as I'm going across the stone, I'm going across, and when I get to right here, I'm going up with my elbow, and I'm also doing a little tiny tilt back. See my wrist? I'm tilting back just ever so slightly. You probably can't tell, but it's so slightly. It's at the same time. And I'm trying, because I'm trying to match up my other side. The biggest problems people have with freehanding is that they're going to have a dominant hand. So one stroke, either pushing or pulling, you're going to be better at. You're going to be more dominant. So that bevel is going to be better than the other side. Now, also matching those little subtle differences. You might feel like I'm doing it the exact same way, but in all reality, it's something so subtle. Like when you get to the end of the stone, you're tilting or you're lifting different. And then on the other side, you're doing it the opposite way, and that winds up making it different. Yeah, we got this going pretty damn good. All right, let's knock this burr off. Let's do this other side again, because I need to do a little bit more at the tip. The one problem, because like I said, this was pretty consistent before, the little issue it had, which most Spydercos do, the one bevel at the tip was small and one side was big. So I probably won't get it all the way out in this sharpening, but I'm going to get it as close as possible. What's up, Chris Wolf? I tend to hold my stones chest high as if I'm using the sun. You know, I do that too, and I've sharpened like that so much. What he's saying is he holds it like this, where he can watch it, and he can see every detail of what he's doing, and that is super duper smart. So many sharpeners do far better like that than they do like this. And I even found myself doing better many, many times like that. There's times where I'll get annoyed and I'll go right back to doing it like that. Or I have stones, like, man, I used to use these Lansky stones freehand. And just like this, same way you're talking about with the plate, but like this. Just like this. And it helps you watch your movements. Now I'm going to show you guys a trick here in a second of what I do when I do my 1-in-1s that helps you keep it nice and consistent, because sometimes that's a big issue is that like you can get it perfectly flat when you're doing 20 swipes. You can get it perfectly even when you're doing 20 swipes this way, but then once you start doing the 1-and-1s, it's hard to match them up because you're changing a little bit. I'm going to show you guys just a small trick that really helps. And I've kind of already said it, but we'll go back to it. So my bevel on this side is bigger than my bevel on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, it's only in this area though. So what I think I need to do is I think my blade is having troubles hitting all the way across from here to here on the flat surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it start over here. I think that'll help. First I got to match it up right here. Yeah, buddy, I can feel it. That might have just helped it. Yeah, it did. Hell yeah. That looks so much better. Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't call it a recurve, but first of all, right here at the tip, in the review I even talked about, the steel comes down a little bit farther than it does across the blade, across the edge. So that's always going to raise you up when you get that part on the stone. Like right now, if I put that on the stone, there's a gap right here. So I either got to go in front of it and not hit it, and then what's going to happen is it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and it'll basically be like kind of like a hangnail, you know. So, or what I can do is I can just go in front of it, like I was just saying it, let it become a hangnail, and then knock it off, like going side to side on a stone or something later. All right, Zach. Thank you for the donations, bud. You going to set up for your stream? We're all gonna have to swing in there after this one. All right. You know what? This is looking really good. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this stone. I'm gonna flip it right now because I do have a burr going pretty quick across the stone. And my bevel is pretty much all good. Now this, the first stone we were just on was a, what grit was it? Was a 240. We're going to a 400 grit. Do you do any anodizing? Yes, I do. We have the electric box to do the electrical anodizing, and then we also have a we do torch for heat anodizing. We've done a bunch of different kinds of anodizing. We do stone washing, etching, acid etch. We do all that. We've tried everything. You know, it's fun to get your hands into everything. This thing, this was originally a. Do you know those, they're called scent bombs you get for your car? You spray once and your whole car smells like cherries. That's what this originally was, and I've rinsed the hell out of it, and it still smells good. It still smells like cherries. Alright, I'll go back on this side. So what are you guys carrying today? I know I said what I was carrying. I didn't see what you guys were carrying. How many people we got here? We got 32 fucking people in here? Holy shit, that's awesome. You guys are amazing. So this stone, the 400 grit side, is definitely a lot slicker. I know I'm not doing a review on the stones, and I will do a review on the stones. I'm reviewing these stones probably next week. But it's a lot slicker, and it clogs up faster. So you definitely get a little bit different texture from these stones than you do any other stone. They're harder yet slick, you know, if that makes sense. The lowest grit, the grit we were just on, the 280, that one's, you know, got some bite to it. But the more you move up, the slicker it gets. It's kind of like ceramic, but it also feels like it has a little bit of cushion to it, if that makes sense. I don't know. Kind of like almost like a ceramic and a superstone mix. Okay, spend some more time on that one. But they do cut faster than they feel like. So they feel like they're not cutting very fast, but they actually are. And you don't need, like, unlike ceramic where you have to put pressure, you don't have to put pressure on these. I'm trying to come back into this corner. That's why I'm moving the way I am. Try to, you guys see? Maybe I should get closer. If you guys ever need to see something or wanting me to do a specific technique or anything like that, just say it, man. Don't be shy. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to, you know, to help out anybody who has any questions or needs me to actually show them something. Don't feel like you're interrupting or anything like that. Yeah, these grits, man, they are way finer. Like this 400 grit it looks like, man, I almost want to say like a 1200 grit. Like it's so much finer than, even though it cuts faster than a 1200 grit, like regular diamond, it cuts way faster, but it looks, and the stone lasts for so long. Like people say that these things can last forever depending on how much sharpening you do. Like there's only a thin layer of the material, but the material is so dense that it doesn't break up fast. Starter stone or best stones to get for beginners, diamond. I say, I got them all over the place. I have 2 sets there, 1 set here. Okay, so in my links, in my videos, if you go down to my sharpening supplies, ultra sharp, there's 3 stones, 300 grit, 600 grit, and 1200 grit. They're diamonds. Now, aluminum oxide's a really good beginner stone too. But this is the thing, is that the diamond plates, they don't last as long as any of the other stones, but they also are no maintenance or low maintenance. Like, you don't have to flatten them. You don't have to buy one of these, a flattening stone. Like with all the other ones, you have to buy one of these and flatten your stones. Diamonds are always flat. You don't have to do them wet. You can do them dry. Like, they're not messy. Like, they're just so much easier to deal with than an oil stone or a water stone. Now, depending on what you want to spend, usually beginners don't want to spend $100 on stones. Now, those 3 diamonds I was just talking about are the best buy you can get. That's the best bang for your buck. It's 3 plates, 2 by 6 inches. They look like this, 2 by 6 inches, and it's under 50 bucks. I think after it's all said and done, after taxes and shipping, it's a little over 50 bucks. And that will cut any steel. So you don't have to worry about any steel. It'll cut any steel. Super Steel Steve's in the house. On the other side of the stone, it has the micron rating. The 400 is actually a micron rating of 20-14, which is like, see, Super Steel Steve coming in with the knowledge. Yeah, this one, it says, yeah, the 400 says 20-14. Is that what you said? Yeah, 20-14, which is 1,000 K to 1,200. So, damn it, man. You're coming in, dropping knowledge, and look at me feeling smart as shit now because I said it was like a 1,200 grit. Damn it, I feel smart now. even though you came in with the knowledge. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I did not know what that meant. I actually, every time I seen it, I just ignored it. I thought it was, in my opinion, I thought it was like a European, like thing or something. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I thought. I just looked at the F400. I was like, ah, 400 grit. I don't think I thought too much about the other thing. Snuggle Tummy, thank you. I don't have the damn bell over here. I know you guys are wanting bell dings. I don't have it over here. But also, back to the beginner stones. Like I said, aluminum oxide is really good too, but diamonds that cut fast, that cut any steel, there's a lot less thought about it, and I feel like for a beginner, it takes away from you having to learn about the stones and how to, keep them clean and maintain them. It takes away all that, and you just have to think about the sharpening. So I feel like that's a little bit of a benefit, it's beneficial to you learning how to hold an angle and everything. And because they're more aggressive, it kind of helps you hold an angle a little bit. It depends, though. I guess everybody's different. I feel that way. Because it's biting the steel. Since it's biting the steel, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that part. But I feel that way when I'm sharpening. The slicker it is, I feel like the more I can, tilt and goof up. Glad to see Steve get drawn out of the shadows. I hope you are well, sir. I hope he's well too. He's always in the shadows watching and listening. Don't let him fool you. He's always there. He might not come out and say he's there, but he's watching. He's watching. Also, with the diamonds, you don't have to put no pressure. With most stones, except for like ceramic you want to put pressure. But most stones, you want to let the stone do the work, but you have to hold enough weight to keep your angle, though. I'm like the big guy from the Lord of the Rings movie. I thought you were going to end at the Lord. Yeah, man, this bevel's looking really good. The only part that's not perfect right now is that damn tip. But the tip was already off, like, from the beginning, like, by a lot. Like I said, originally it was really tiny on one side and really big on the other side. Hopefully I match it up by the end of this. If not, I'll get it by the second sharpening. So what I'm doing, which right now is for those of you that got in here maybe a little late, I'm using my finger as a guide. Now sometimes I don't, like, just depending on what I'm sharpening and depending on the blade shape. Me personally, I think the easiest blade shape to sharpen is a drop point. I think it's even easier than Warncliffe's. A lot of people disagree with that, but that's just me. But what I'm doing is I'm holding my finger on the stone, and then I'm matching the blade up on one spot of my finger, and I'm barely letting my finger run across the stone. Not enough to dig it in there or anything, but just enough to where either my nail kind of touches. It's just being a guide. So, like, if I start tilting back, my finger will feel it. If I start tilting up, my finger will feel it. And I use that as a guide. Now, there's times where I'm just going to pick it up and just, like, let it run with it. But even if I do that, I'm still letting my finger sit over the top, and I'm letting my finger right here touch. So like, if you can see that, let's see if you can see it. So even if I'm doing it like this, right, I'm still letting just a different part of my finger touch the stone in certain times, and it's like kind of like acting like a guide. And to me, that is one of the best ways to get a perfectly flat bevel. Not saying you can't do it without doing that, but for people that are having a hard time with getting a perfectly flat bevel, because I know you hear from a lot of sharpeners that say, I gotta say, man, you have some of the cleanest edges I've ever seen. You gotta be one of the best sharpeners I've seen. Oh, don't do that, Steve. You're just talking shit. What was I about to say now? Oh yeah, that a lot of people say that a freehander can't have a flat fucking bevel. That's not true. You absolutely can. You can do it in a couple different ways. One, you can get an angle finder, and you can, match your angle. They're a little difficult to use, but you can use it to make sure your angle's right. But besides that, for the flatness, if you're using your finger like a guide, then it will be flat because you're holding it the same way. The biggest thing is just holding it that same exact way and repeating it over and over and over and over, and that will be flat. Now, it's easy to convex your edge too. If you're like moving all over, or if you're constantly changing angles. But if you're holding the blade flat and you just repeat that over and over, it will be flat. Sometimes I see in other people's live sharpenings, they say, well, it's impossible for a freehander to not convex their edge a little, like they'll have a nice flat edge, but it'll be a little convex. And sometimes I want to say that's not true, man. But I don't even fucking waste my time arguing with them, because you absolutely can hold a perfect angle and match it up. You just like say if I'm going to do my 1-in-1s, what I'll do is I'll hold it right there. So now this is the distance. And if I want to, I can mark it. So say if this is my mark, bang, right there. This is where I'm going to put my finger, bang, right there. So every time my finger is going to go in that same spot. And then I'm going to match it right there on the line, bam, right there. So now when the knife goes on the stone, bang, right there. Now when I want to do 1-in-1, I'm matching it up every single time. Now you could say, well, that's kind of like a guided system. Well, maybe, but I ain't got no damn machinery. But you can also do it without marking if you just feel it, because you can still feel where your finger was. Cleaning the metal swarf off. Yeah, so what I'm doing is the metal swarf, like Steve just said, it'll clog up the stone. The higher the grit you go, the more it kind of happens. But what I'm doing is I'm taking this is a Lansky stone. I went through a couple of them to see which one works the best. This one works the best. This is a 120 coarse stone. For some reason, it just worked the best. All the rest of them, they didn't work that good. And I don't know if it's an aluminum oxide or it's I think it's an aluminum oxide stone. I don't know. Anyway, so it works really good though. And you're just basically conditioning the top of the stone to let the diamonds come back up, because the diamonds are being covered by the steel that I'm removing from this, and it's covering them. And then after that, I might spray it, give it a little wipe down, get it out of there, and then go back to work. Like I said, the hardest point, I was talking about this earlier, but the hardest time to make your bevel perfectly flat is in the very end when you're doing your 1-in-1. And the reason why is because you're switching. Like if I do this 20 times, it's easy for me to memorize my movement, right? So eventually I do wind up doing, say, 10 passes perfectly the same. So then that gives me a perfect flat bevel. Now, once I start doing 1-and-1 passes, I don't have those 5 or 6 passes to give me like a warm-up of holding my angle. So that's when you wind up looking at it from like a microscopic level. You know what, let's pull that out. Oh, damn it, I think it's over there. What an idiot. I don't have my, damn it. I don't have my magnifying glass over here. I got my old one. Son of a bitch. But yeah, when you do that 1-and-1, that's when you're gonna make lines on top of your flat bevel that make it look inconsistent. Because when you see a line, like when you're sharpening, I'll answer the questions in 1 second. When you're sharpening and you have a perfectly flat bevel, say all the way across, and you see a line going from this direction to this direction, so back and forth this way, so not the direction of the grit, but a line going from heel to toe, that type of direction, that's your angle being changed. That's all that is. That's your angle being changed. What do you personally like to use on the diamond stones for the oil and water stones? Hold on a second. What do you personally like to use the diamonds? Wait, what do you personally like to use the diamond stone or the oil stone? I like using the diamond stones. I like all stones. I like the oil stones. I like the water stones, depending on the steel, and then also depending on I guess how fast I need to do it. I love diamond stones, I really do. But I have a passion for natural stones. I do love natural stones. I love Arkansas stones. I love even aluminum oxide. I love aluminum oxide stones. They will cut I have some aluminum oxide stones that cut faster than some of my diamond stones. They cut. You just gotta have a low grit. Now, some people will say that that it's not going to cut certain steels, like even though it'll sharpen it, that it doesn't cut the steel as good as like I say a diamond. Even though it'll cut it fast, it'll sharpen it, it won't give it that fine edge that another type of stone might, like a diamond. Spyderco Ultrafine has less feedback than a dead hooker. That is so true. Yeah, when I use my Ultrafine, I'm already at such a high grit that, yeah, it doesn't have no feedback at all. That's my only big problem with ceramics, is that you have to put pressure, and sometimes that pressure hurts your angle. Sometimes it's hard to hold an angle because, say, I might push something like, say, 3 pounds right now and then 5 pounds the next time, and I might not be holding my angle perfect with that amount of weight, if that makes any sense. So I like ceramic stones, especially when they work out really good. I just find, me personally, that sometimes, like especially if I'm in a really good mood, it goes great. But when it goes bad, I just, for some reason, and I won't fucking hold an angle for shit on them because of my pressure. And maybe I'm looking at it at too much of a microscopic level and I'm just going crazy and it looks actually fine to the naked eye. I don't know. Because, you know, some of the sharpest edges I've ever gotten was off the Ultrafine. So, question. Do you also need to take the swarf off for diamond plate stone? No. So the diamond plates, all you got to do, you can use water if you want. You can use water, and that's fine. I don't. I just personally don't. I don't give a shit. So what I do is, it'll build up like a powder, and I'll just take a napkin, a paper towel, and I will just give it a little, just like that. And then after I'm all done, I'll wash the table off. But just like that, and it'll clean all the dust right off. Now, if you get it wet, do it with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So like say if it starts like binding up a little too much, put a little rubbing alcohol in there, rub it around, get all the particles up, then dry it off. Now when you dry it off, fibers from the towel are going to stick on the stone. Blow on it, let it dry, then take your hand and just give it a little wipe, and it'll wipe all the fibers off, because you'll feel all the fibers on the stone with your bare hand. But that's if you use water to clean it off, or alcohol or something like that. I personally like to use alcohol because it's metal, so it dries fast, so the water's not sitting on it. That's just, that's maybe just me, but you can use water too. Laugh Lauren definitely makes a difference to me, but I'm new, so okay. Let's use my water. Yeah, Dan's has the only problem with Dan's is because they do have some of the best quality stones. They really do. They actually supply a lot of other companies that sell natural stones and stuff like that, but Dan's might be a little bit better quality cut, because with natural stones, there's going to be differences. Like just because, like say if I have an Arkansas hard and you have a hard Arkansas, it's two different cuts. So they're going to work a little different. You might have a more a better cut. Let's just say that, to put it in like layman's terms or whatever, just a better cut, and it might perform better. Dan's is a little bit more expensive, but they do have better cuts. That not saying that, say mine, that which isn't a better cut, won't work just fine. Like when you get to that level of knowing the difference between that, you've been sharpening a lot, and you can tell those little tiny fine differences. To most people, they won't notice the difference. Barkeeper's friend works great for diamond plates when you use them with water. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I got actually some of that. I use the Barkeepers on my ceramic stones, actually, when I take them to my sink. A lot of times I'll just clean them with just soap and water, and I'll just scrub them right here. But when they really get built up, I take them upstairs. I use the Barkeeper friend, and I just I clean it off, because it's like a powder. It's almost like baking soda. And you scrub it into it, and the powder is like a grit, so it helps clean it. I've never used it on the diamond stones, but he says, wait, it's Barkeeper's friend. Oh no, oxalic acid. There you go. So it's like a powder. It's kind of like the texture of like baking soda, and it's you kind of use it like because it's aggressive, I guess you could say. Like, so the powder will help break up the material, whatever you're trying to get up. It's great for scrubbing, like cleaning anything. Will make the diamond plates look brand new. Really, I've never tried that. I'm glad Steve's in here, because I'm definitely going to try that. Like I said, I usually just use alcohol. I use rubbing alcohol, rub it right off, and it brings it up. But they never look brand new. I'll say that. So I'm definitely going to try that. That's definitely a good idea. But alcohol works really good, especially like in between sharpening. So like while you're sharpening. Man, I'm still having a little issue with that damn tip. I almost wonder, you know what? I bet the grind. Because check this out. This is one of the biggest things, like with production edges, or not production, but factory edges. When they're, I'm just going to do it free, just showing it like this. So when they're on the belt, picture a belt going around, right? A belt's going around in a circle. I am sharpening this on a factory, on a factory edge. So like it's Spyderco's factory. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll go across the belt, and then right when they get to the tip, watch this, they'll lift like this. They'll lift it. So there's meep, meep. And then they do the other side, and they're better with the other side because they're right-handed or left-handed. It's just a difference between being right-handed or left-handed. And then this one goes perfect. Straight across. I'm not lifting. I'm just going like this. And that's when you'll see, and I'm talking about also the flat here, not just the edge. So that can happen on the edge or on the flat, or this is a hollow grind, sorry, or on the hollow or flat grind, whatever. And that might possibly be why this one's going so much thicker at the tip. It's not like bad or nothing. It's not like a huge difference, but I noticed that the one side of the tip is a bigger bevel, even though the bevel is so even all the way up and down on both sides until right when it gets to the tip. So, it is what it is. I am afraid I pressed too hard on my diamond plates, but I will try, Barkeep friend. Yeah, try not to put any pressure on your diamond plates. Diamond plates, you don't need to pressure. Just let the diamonds do the work. Plus, the more harder you push on your diamonds, the less they won't last as long. You'll kill them faster. Yeah, the BKF is abrasive. Takes out the metal particles and I don't know how to pronounce that. Oxalic acid removes any scale or rust buildup. Good to know. That is good information. Yeah, I never really looked up what was inside of it or anything. I just know people recommended it, so I used it. Plus, we've used it like in shops and stuff just growing up. I grew up in shops and stuff like that, so we've used it on other things, my uncles and stuff like that. Alright, I'm about to switch stones here. This is looking really good. Now, in all reality, I don't know if I want to keep going up. Because, like Steve was saying, if this is kind of like a 1200 grit or something, like we were both saying, I don't know if I want to go much higher. I like having some bite in my edge. I don't like I like a damn good mirror looking edge, just like anybody else. I think it looks sexy. It looks good. Good for them damn Instagram shots. But in all reality, I like a toothy edge. I like that motherfucker to have some bite. When I'm cutting stuff, I want the edge to work for me, not slip off of stuff. I grew up in a kitchen. We use on everything. Yeah. I know you are. Since you're a chef too. I'm sure you guys use it on everything. We use like in shops and stuff like that. My grandma owned a restaurant. But then we have like I grew up in a place where like we had like a farm. This was outside, like, because I grew up near Chicago, but my grandma had a farm, right? So like and then we have a shop there. So like it wound up turning into like a concrete shop and like just a construction shop. And then my grandma, she used to have a restaurant. So like we had like an outdoor kitchen. There was even like a smoking shack. Like it had like a bunch of like shit like that. So like just being involved in everything. Like you kind of grow up with different shit. Kind of like the barkeeper's friend, like using it on stuff. Not even just that either, just all different types of chemicals and stuff like that. This tip is going to piss me off. I'm going to do it a little bit longer and then I don't know if I'm going to move to the next stone or not, because the next stone might be a little too fine. Maybe I should, just to see how it works out on this M4. I can always go backwards. Hey Steve, I don't know how much M4 you've sharpened. I haven't done a lot of it. So what grit you think M4 does good at? I haven't done a lot of it, so I don't really know. I've heard it does good just about on any grit, but some people said to keep it, that they have the best performance under 1500. I keep my M4 at like 1000. Yeah, it makes sense. All these people trying to do all these mirrored, or wanting all these mirrored edges, when I see it on some steels, sometimes I'll see, like, say, an edge on Instagram or something, and I know that steel, even though it looks good with a mirrored edge, I'm looking at that edge saying, like, yeah, man, that thing's either really brittle or slick as shit. Like, it's not going to perform very good. Or they got it laid back so far that it's very sharp only because it's thin like a wire, if that makes sense. So now when I do my 1-in-1, it's kind of like the same thing like I said. I match up the same spot, and I don't have to have the line if you can memorize where it feels, like where you feel it. Then when I switch over to here, I'll go 1-in-1. So 1 and 1. But I'm matching up exactly where I felt it before. But this is when you can have the hardest time not putting those lines in your bevel that made it look like you were not holding a good angle. Especially if you're at a high grit. And the reason why is because the high grit cuts slower, so it's easier to put a line instead of, or just a line like in your bevel rather than it doing your whole bevel, if that makes sense. Hey, it's looking damn good though. It looks damn good. Yeah, that looks really good. I feel a little burr though still. Nice and glassy. Let's put down a receipt. I think I could definitely do some more 1-in-1 passes, but let's just check it. That was my fault. That's pretty sharp. Not bad. Not bad at all. I feel like it. Strop might take it out. I'm going to do just a couple more 1-in-1 passes. Oh, you know what? First, I'm going to condition the stone. That's probably my problem right now. I'm going to do this. Because I have a lot of buildup. I don't know if you guys can see that. A lot of buildup. Can you see that? Oh, here, let me hold it up higher. See the steel? Now, I could just flip it over and do it on this side. But you see all this steel? Now, just wiping it, it'll remove some of it, but not all of it. So, get this thing. This will take it right off, like really quick, too. Spray it again, give it a little wipe down, get rid of all, because I can see all the steel floating now. Wipe it off. Just wipe it off. Wipe it off. Alright. Now this fucking edge is gonna look real good. I'm experimenting with leather, scraps, and belts. Smoother leather seems to work best. Okay, well, so there's a lot of different leathers, right? You know, hard, soft, you know, some are more aggressive, some are kind of furry. I think, and this is could be just my opinion, I think sometimes the reason why some leathers work better for some people is pressure. So some people put more pressure than others. Some people hold an angle better. So I feel, in my opinion, like a softer strap, that's when you can kind of lay, because some people say, and this isn't my, you know, like what I'm saying some people say to lay it back a little bit farther than you would, because the worst thing that'll happen is it's just going to polish a little bit of your secondary bevel. Or the you know, behind your edge. So you can tilt back a little bit when you strap. And then some people say, no, you should hold a perfect angle when you do it. Now, I think that either one is fine. It depends on pressure. So if it's a soft strap, you're going, when you put, if you put pressure, you're going to notice it, you know, it indenting the leather, and it's going to, you know, go like this around your edge. So you're going to have a better chance of it convexing your edge or knocking your edge off. Now, if you hold it perfectly flat, that's great as long as you're not putting any pressure. So you need to be very gentle if you're going to hold it nice and flat. So I think a lot of it has to do with pressure on the strap. But a strap can hurt your edge. So you want to be, like some people, man, like they'll strap for days, boy, and you don't want to do that. It will take away that bite that you want. The sharpness should come from the stone, not from the strap. Doing like 5-10 passes, you know, 10 passes on each side, that's usually about as much stropping as you want to do. Now, if you're trying to put a polished edge or something and you're polishing it, you know, obviously you can go higher, you can do whatever the fuck you want, doesn't matter. But it can take that crispy edge off. Because remember, like, especially if you use a compound, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with compound, because compound, that's you know, it's material that's, it's gonna knock off your edge. It's going to, I'm not gonna say sharpen, but it's doing something to your edge. I can't even find words right now in my, to come out of my mouth, but I learned that mirror edges are only for Instagram. My work edges are going to be no higher than 1500 grit. Yeah, certain steels though do good with, like I said, I have some M390 that does great with a mirrored edge. Like, it keeps a nice bite. So it depends on the steel. Some steels do great when they're finer, or not even finer, but they can still have a bite while they're at a high grit. Most steels, I found that most steels, the bite goes away and it gets too smooth, too glassy. But some steels, though, do great at high grits with mirror polishes. I am experimenting with leather scraps. Oh, I already read that one. Does the cleaning like you're doing work on ceramic stones? No. No, you want to use on ceramic. You can, I guess. You know, like what I just did on here, but it's not the same. So the ceramic stone you want to use, like the barkeeper's friend. You can use baking soda. You can use soap and water and just scrub it with a scrub brush. Stuff like that. Like, this is an actual aggressive stone, and I'm just bringing the diamonds out of this because diamonds are infused inside this stone, so I'm bringing them back up. Now, if you have, say, a ceramic stone and it is fucking coated, I mean, like, bad, yes, they have flattening stones, sorry, that are for, my nose is running, sorry guys, that are for ceramic stones. There's diamond plates out there, and you can use them on your ceramics, but, I mean, they're expensive. They're not cheap. So the best thing to do is just keep up with your ceramic stone. Use barkeeper's friend, use baking soda, soap and water, wash it. Every time you're done with it, wash it. Some people, you can use an eraser. you know, so you can take literally an eraser for steel and scrub it. That works too. Do high polished edge freehand like on black surgical helps you practice angle holding and why is that in front of that? Okay, let me read that again. Doing high polished edge freehand like on black surgical help you practice angle holding and doesn't eat away steel rapidly. Yeah, I mean it can. Everybody's, everybody's different. Some people, they find that, hey, what's up, Lindy Lou? Some people find that the slicker, harder stones are easier for them to hold angles, and some people find that stones with bite are easier to hold angles. Me personally, I like stones with a little more bite. For some reason, I can hold an angle better on an aggressive stone than I can on a slick stone. If you guys don't know, the knife's meow is Lindy Lou. Go check her out. Also, earlier, I don't know if he's still in here. I don't think he's still in here. The Knife Whisperer, go check his channel out too. He's hilarious. I use strops that I do myself with veg tan leather, 3mm stick with compound standard green and white. With all my edges are very shiny without any pressure on the blade. Yeah, I don't like to use, me personally, I don't use any pressure on my strops. I also, when I get to my strop, I don't have a burr. Like, I don't have a burr. I just don't. I knock my burr off on my stone. And also, I use white compound. I don't like green for some reason. I have it, but I don't like it. I have other stropping compounds too, like all the way down to like 0.25 micron or some shit. I don't like those. I just like the white compound. The white compound to me makes the crispier edge. All the other ones seem to take the crisp away. And maybe it's the way I'm holding it and stropping, but the white compound works great in my opinion. I use erasers on my ceramic rods, but they only clean them up so far. Yeah, then use like I said, Barkeeper's Friend, baking soda. You can even use just the old-fashioned scrub brush with soap and water. Fucking scrub, put some elbow grease in it. But yeah, sometimes, man, that's all it takes is good old-fashioned elbow grease. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about just fucking using your arm and hand with some pressure. So take a scrub brush or even the Barkeeper's Friend or anything like that. When you put that stuff on there, get a some type of sponge or whatever and scrub it into the surface really good with circles. Scrub it in really good. And then rinse it off. Fucking repeat. Just keep doing it until it comes all the way off. You'll get it clean. I promise you, you'll get that motherfucker clean. And if you really are the type that your ceramic stone is so clogged up, you can get a diamond plate. A diamond plate will remove it very quick. I don't know, like when I did that, because I did that before. I had when I first started working with ceramics, I let my ceramic stone get bad. And I put it on one of my diamond plates. I'll tell you what, it ate the fuck out of my diamond plate. The diamond plate worked. It worked good. But damn it if my diamond plate wasn't fucked up afterwards. But I think the more expensive ones don't do that as bad. I think the more expensive ones will last a lot longer with that. And you just want to be careful with pressure and stuff. Okay, everything looks beautiful on this. My bevel is not It's perfect except for that damn tip. I have one spot in the middle right here that I'm not happy with too. Let me see if I can fix it right now. And I'll just do another 1-in-1 pass. It's that same spot that I was talking about earlier right here. Let's see if we can't get it. I bet we can. I bet we can. Remember, don't ever go into sharpening irritated or frustrated. If it's not going the way you want and you're really getting upset, you better put that motherfucker down real quick, because you are only going to destroy it more. You are only going to get worse. Don't let your ego or frustration get the better of you, because my ego's done that. And like where I'm like, no, I can't give up until I have a good edge. No, I can't give up until it's perfectly flat. And I'll wind up fucking some shit up. Don't do that. Just take your time. Be nice and gentle with it. Keep your eye on everything and realize the movements you are doing. When you're frustrated, the little movements you're not paying attention to. And that's when you can't hold an angle and you're inconsistent and it's hard to flip over and go, to the next side and hold it perfectly flat, or match it up. I'm basically saying it's hard to match up one side to the other because you can't feel the little details that you can when you're enjoying yourself. That looks a lot better. Oh, that looks so much better. Yeah, for some reason, right here in the belly, it only likes to get hit in this corner, because, see, if you guys look, like when I'm in the corner, see how it hits this part right there? When I'm right here, there's a gap. And it's still hitting it, but it's smaller, if that makes sense. So it'll go from, like, say, a thick edge to thin edge, and then go back to the thick edge. So when I go back here, I can hit it completely just like the rest of the stone. So that worked really good. And now I got a burr on this side, so I need to get rid of it. Have to use sharpening as a meditation. Yeah, that's what I do. I think of it, it's almost like a meditation, I guess. Therapeutic. That's how I like to say it. It's therapeutic. Yeah, sharpening is therapeutic. There you go. It's kind of hypnotizing. Yeah, and even if you're using KME or whatever, man, fucking enjoy it. Have fun with it. Like, I like to take it up a notch, almost like say, I love knives, right? I love knives, and this is just fun to have. It's fun to use. I enjoy it. So I take the next step now. The next step is how damn sharp can I make this motherfucker? Because my knife is only as good as its edge, right? This thing is worth nothing to me if it's not sharp. But then I take it past that, and I take it to almost like a psychotic level. And it's like, well, how sharp can I make it, When you start dragging hairs across it, and you start getting, all your edges don't have to be that way, but it's fun, it's just fun to do. I tell you what, I like this M4 though. I do like it. I like it a lot. I took it to work, man, and I beat the shit out of it. Because I knew I was going to do this video, so I was like, man, I can't go to this video with a fresh edge. I should have showed you guys how dull it was from the start. This thing wouldn't cut paper for nothing. It had nicks and dings, and I even tried to hone it a couple days ago, or what was it? Was it yesterday? I tried to hone it, and yeah, it wasn't working, so I knew it needed a full sharpening. I'm going to do some 1-in-1 passes. Oh shit, I need to make sure I go all the way back to that corner. burr comes off real easy with this this M4 steel. Ooh, one little spot I need to get. All right, so the tip is still a tiny bit off, but it's pretty damn close. It's better than it was. Man, that thing is sharp too. Before the strap. Oh yeah, buddy. Let's do it nice and slow. All right, let's try some strapping. Now, I could go to the next stone. How long we've been here? Oh, damn, we've been here for a minute. A minute. Yeah, I won't make you guys sit here much longer. All right, so I got a strap with a white compound. This is the white compound. I got a ton of straps. And for those of you that don't know what everybody's been talking about with the ceramic stones, this is the ultra fine. You can see mine, I've been using. I need to scrub mine. And then this is the medium. I like the medium. I like the ultra fine too. But they're both great stones. But like I said, you gotta put pressure. Also, these hard Arkansas are really good too. The translucents. And they're translucent because you can, light passes through them. They're just a very hard stone. It kind of, in a way, kind of reminds me of the ultra fine. The ultra fine is very expensive. I think you can get a translucent. You know what? They're about the same price, I think. I think I paid about the same price for them. But the ultra fine's bigger. So, I'm using very little pressure. Maybe I should put it on something. I'm using very little pressure. What I'm doing is I'm going down on my tip. So I'm going down on the tip. And then I'm going back up. Because now, once I come this way, I'm going to tilt down just a little bit where my tip's not going to go and snag into the leather as I go back up. And then dragging it across. And I try to lay it as flat as possible. Like I was saying before, some people say to tilt back a little bit. I think that's if you're putting pressure. If you use very light pressure, try to hold your same angle as much as possible. And you shouldn't need to do this too much because it will take that stickiness away from your edge, especially if you put too much pressure. Now, tilting back is going to be better than tilting forward. So if you have a problem with holding the angle, maybe you should tilt back just a little tiny bit. Especially on softer straps. The harder straps, you want to lay it down nice and flat. This is like kind of a medium. It's not really hard. Like I have a hard one right here. This one's really hard. This one's a little softer though. So this one I make sure I lay flat. This one, I try to do the same thing, but it is soft. So when I put pressure, it indents into the leather. So I have to be careful with that. One more pass. All right. Oh yeah. And I'm taking my nail and I'm dragging it up the stone, making sure it's nice and smooth, nice and glassy. And then I'm taking my fingers and I'm running it up like this, just dragging my finger like this. I'm making sure there's no burrs all the way down it on both sides. Then I take my fingertips and I rock it on the edge. Basically what I'm doing is I'm rocking. I do that with my thumb too. And it's just telling me how sticky the edge is. Let's see, I don't have no more receipts, but I do got some dango paper. Yeah, I cut myself pretty good on that 940 with the reblade. That thing's like 10 thousandths behind the edge. I was cutting up some boxes, and damn it, I slipped. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was my fault. Let's go nice and slow. Nice and slow. You know what's so fucking crazy? I'm so weird and crazy that now after this I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna strop it again because I feel like I just dulled my edge on paper. That's when you know you're crazy, because it's like now I wouldn't be able to not do this if I didn't go back right here and hit it just once or twice. I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. Oh. Talk about OCD. Yeah, this is very sticky. I'm liking this M4, man. Alright, now, to get the marker off, let's do some dango alcohol. There we go. Now, let's clean up our stones. Make sure everything's nice and clean. We didn't use this one. This one is the 800 1200. I don't know what grit that would wind up being. I'm guessing if this is at 1200 at 4, then 4, 8, 12, 3 times, so 12, 24, so 36. I don't know if it'd be that high, but basically, if it works out the same as this, it'd be damn near 4,000 grit. When you get to the top one, it'd be like 3,600 or something like that. I don't know if that's the way that works, but it sounds good though, right? If the one stone at 400 grit is like a 1,200 grit, then the 1,200 grit should be like a 3,600 grit, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Now, like I said, if fibers ever get off of like a paper towel onto your thing, let it dry a little bit, and then wipe it off. You'll feel them. I gotta clean this one. I used this one earlier, and I didn't. So now these higher grit stones are going to clog up a lot faster, a whole lot faster. So like you've seen how much I conditioned the one, I would probably have to condition these ones twice as much. Let these things dry off. I always let them sit straight up. Now let's clean this thing off. I think this is like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I think it's aluminum oxide, but it looks almost like a natural stone. Maybe it's a soft Arkansas. I don't know. thank you guys for coming and hanging out at the sharpening video. I really appreciate you guys doing all that. I'm going to sit here and bullshit for about 5, maybe 10 more minutes, and then we'll call it quits because I do want to chit-chat with you motherfuckers for a little bit longer. We got the sharpening done. Now, if anybody wants to, has any questions or wants to see anything, let me know. I'll bust it out now. We can talk about it. Because I know I get a lot of sharpening questions. And then I tell people, man, come to the live. If you come to the live, you can fucking ask me whatever you want. I'll pull it out. I'll show you. I'll do it right there. And half the time they don't show up. So, but I still want to give people the opportunity if they do have any questions, or we can just sit here and chit chat. There's 26 people here. Thanks for having us, brother. Enjoy your company. Most definitely. Thank you, Chris. I really enjoy your guys' company more than probably the opposite. Yeah, so for let me bust something out really quick. I just recently got this flattening stone. I mean, I've had it for a little while now. But these things go a long way. I recommend getting a flattening stone for anybody that is going to get, say, an Arkansas or and I'm not talking about like the translucent, I mean like the soft Arkansas, the aluminum oxides, or water stones, or even like these splash and goes, these super stones. These things, you got to constantly, man, this one this one looks like shit right now. What is this? I'm gonna clean this right now. So, you want to make sure, oh, I know why it looks like this, because when I dried it the last time, I had to leave. I didn't have time, that's what it was. Thanks for having us. Okay, did you see the new Spyderco catalog? Listed a CBN bench stone. No, I did not. I did not. So they got their own bench stone now? Is that what you're saying? They got a CBN. What's up, Lavender Pants? Jared on here acting like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's trying. He's trying. Steve's been in here schooling me, though. Schooling me. I love when Steve shows up, though. It gives me an opportunity to ask some questions. But yeah, these flattening stones, though, awesome. They work really good. They work really fast. And watch how fast this stone comes back. A little elbow grease. But no, I did not hear about the CBN bench stone that Spyderco's doing. That's actually pretty damn cool, and I'm curious about that now. I really, really am. I did not know about... Oh, yeah. You don't want to dry these. I know I just did. You want to let them naturally dry. They can crack. I'm going to do the other side really quick just to make sure they're both nice and flat. My 12C27 Rhea that you sharpen still cuts like a laser. Just takes a little sharpening. Yeah, that's one thing that I like about 12C, 14C. 9CR is okay for that, but they all strap back really good. I heard that Mike Emler was talking about that new, what's the name of the steel? AARB 9 or something like that Artisan just made. They made this new powdered steel. It's supposedly like a little like 9CR. It's like supposedly in between 9CR and D2 or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so Mike Emler, you know, he's a knife sharpener, and he has been testing that steel because his little sea snake I got a little. His his sea snake that he did with Artisan, it's in that steel. So he's been testing it on his knife and on the Rhea. And he's been speaking very highly of it. He says the edge doesn't hold like a crazy long time or anything. He says, but what it does do is it strops right back up like really fast. He said he was even like busting it through like copper wire and shit. Said it stropped right back like nothing. Ooh, look at that. You know that's flat. You know that's flat. Look at that. Pop that motherfucker off. You know it's flat when you're flattening stone picks it up. I got a little nick right here I'm trying to get out. It's almost gone. Now, the higher the grit with these, so like the lower the grit with these super stones. Yeah, ARRPM9. That's what it was. Thanks, Lavender Pants. These super stones, man, they're okay. They're good stones. I like them. They are splash and go stones. But like now that I got it wet, I can't put it back. I have to let it sit and dry itself. Otherwise, it will crack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on my stone dryer. Right there. I just let it sit up right, and it can dry itself off. You don't want to fan them. You don't want to air dry them. You want them to just sit and naturally dry. Jeff Jewell is the one who warned me about that, because he said he bought some, and he said they were cracking like crazy or some shit, like spider cracks. So what was I talking about? With all the new K390 and LC200N in the new lineup, they needed something. Yeah, I figured Kara would turn the worker into a butter knife. She almost did. We almost did a video with her making a damn peanut butter and jelly with it. I want to do a video. I want to get a straight razor and sharpen it and try shaving. I've done it with pocket knives, so I thought about doing that with like a butter knife or something, because I seen Mike do that. Mike Emler, he did that with a butter knife. He sharpened it and shaved with it. I thought about doing something like that, or just taking a regular pocket knife. What strap back after cutting through stuff like that? Supposedly that RPM M9, that's what Mike Emler said. He said he was testing it. He cut through like some copper wire and shit, and he said it stropped right back. He says the edge doesn't hold for a long time, but it strops right back really good. So for those of you guys that don't know what I'm doing right now, I am reflattening these stones. These aren't the stones I've been sharpening with. These are different stones, but just while I'm sitting here, because I'm going to be here for like 5-10 more minutes, I'm going to flatten these stones up, clean them off, and then we'll end it. And before the Band-Aid, yeah, you don't want to use a hair dryer or anything on these, because supposedly they'll crack. I just do what I've been told. I've been told let them sit upright and let them dry naturally. This one's like soaking it up right now. Looks like the workbench of a madman. This is just my sharpening bench, man. This is just right in my damn living room, bro. This is not much of a workbench. It's more of me where I write down my notes for my videos. I sharpen my knives. I watch other people's videos here. It's kind of just oh, I tool around. I clean knives here. So I guess it's a workbench because I clean knives and shit here. and take them apart, work on them and stuff. So I guess it's kind of a workbench. But yeah, definitely a workbench of a madman, because I'm a madman. But hey, man, whatever works, right? As long as you're doing it correctly and using the right tools, that's good. I don't need to go too crazy on this one. All right. Let that dry off. Think the Gale Bradley 2 is worth picking up since it's discontinued. Okay, so I like it a lot, but like I said, that damn liner will piss you off. It will. It's such a good knife, such a good grind, great blade shape, great everything, but that damn liner, if I wouldn't have, I had to cut it out. There was no way I didn't have, like, doing that mod I did to it. If you watch the mod video, I cut back the liner here because it's so hard to get to. It's like they didn't think about unlocking it. And now that I have the micarta scales and the and I got this liner cut back, it is so much better. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a damn good knife. The ergos are fantastic because it gives you a straight profile, you know, where whatever grip you want you can get, and that's really nice when you're cutting different stuff. Like if you're just busting your knife out and cutting a string, it doesn't matter about ergos. But when you're actually breaking down your recycling, cutting up cardboard, cutting rope, you know, from behind and pulling straps and stuff, ergos fucking matter probably the most next to the grind. The grind is obviously always the most important. I got one more to do. This one I think is clean. Yeah, this one's already good. This one I don't need to do. So I'll just leave it right here. Was going to get the AD15, but seeing the AD20 makes me want... Yeah, that AD20 looks pretty damn sweet, right? I know what you mean. Yep, that Civivi hurts my hand. It's too small. Yeah, that Civivi is more of like an office carry or like a gent carry. He's talking about the Civivi Chronic. So the Civivi Chronic, that one, you're not gonna, like, you can easily break down cardboard with it because it's a thin hollow grind, but it's not going to be one for hard use or anything. That's where you want something a little bigger, hand filling, palm filling. That's more of a, what people would call a gent carry, an office carry. It's great for one cut. Right? 1 or 2 cuts, even 3 to 5 cuts. But when you start breaking shit down, no, it's not going to be the best. That's when you're going to want, you know, something like a Griptilian, a Spyderco, a Hogue, you know, something like something with better ergos that fills your hand a little bit more. I'll get you something a little bigger up there, a little more palm filling, and you'll love it. We'll get you something up there that that you can really get a grip on. Something a little more harder use. Because there's some knives out there, man, that's fucking what they're built for. They're built for hard use over and over all day long, you know, for years. You know, something like they're talking about the AD15 right now. That thing's built like a brick house. I mean, it is fucking, it's badass. The lock is really strong. It's built for work. I mean, it's built for hammering through shit. And love the Shaman and the Paramilitary 2 forever and over those. Yeah, the Shaman, that's a really good one. The Para 2, even the military, that's a really good one. I know you guys hear me talk about it all the time, and I don't have it here, but it actually kind of reminds me of the Gale Bradley. The Picaro, the Civivi Picaro, it's a lot like this. You know, same blade shape, same ergos, thin hollow grind. The grind is made to go through stuff, and the ergos are good. So that's a good one. The Lawman, you know, the American Lawman. Code 4. How about the Code 4? It's thin, so you're not going to get the best ergos out of it, but it's built tough. It's built strong, and it will work over and over and over and over and over. is that's where it matters, right? It matters after, not fucking after you've used it for a week. It matters after you've done hours and hours and hours of cutting. You know, like, has it cut your, like, into your hand? How does your hand feel after using it for a week? How does the knife break in? Is it getting rock now? I've found knives where I use them for half a day at work and they got rock. And then I've had some that I've used for fucking 6 months straight and they're still tough as shit. Have you handled, I haven't seen the kite fin yet, no. Might not be a tank, but damn, does it cut like a laser. Yeah, and that's where, like, there's two parts to a knife that's going to work good, right? The grind and then the ergos. So the ergos are going to give you the leverage behind the cut, and the grind is going to determine how good it passes through materials. So if you have both, then you're doing good. I was in my loader, and these trees kept slapping me in the face. I had that Civivi in my pocket, so I started whacking limbs. He's cutting limbs with the Civivi Chronic. Hell yeah. You needed Shaman is what you needed, and that, or like the Code 4, the 8010, those would have served you real good. Even this, I was using this out in the woods when I was doing that kukri video. I said fuck it, but yeah, I mean, whatever works. You needed a stick to beat on it. You'll see a lot of people will like, if they can't cut through something, they'll get something else to hit it through. You just want to make sure your lock doesn't fail. That's where the Triad lock comes in play. That can take a beating. Liner locks, not so much. Is your Dalica from your mod vid still holding up? I got the Dalica still, and it's, do I have it right here? No, it's in my drawer over there. It's holding up. Not very strong, but it's holding up. All right, Paul, thanks for showing up, bud. Impulse buying, here I come, must resist, cold steel. Yeah, man, cold steel, I need to get some cold steels, man. I don't have any. I've tried them out. I've tried out the 8010. I tried out the Code 4 and I think one other one, but I really like that Code 4. My biggest thing is I'm not a huge backlock fan. That stretch, though, I got that Spyderco stretch too. I think it's pretty awesome. I like it a lot. Surprisingly, because I'm not a huge backlock fan. I think it's awesome. The Real Steel H6 is just, let me move this right here so it looks like I'm looking at you guys. And we won't be here much longer, guys. I know you guys probably came here for sharpening and now we're just bullshitting. Anybody that came here for sharpening and wants to see the sharpening, go back to the beginning of the video. We sharpened the Gale Bradley. So the Real Steel H6 is just a liner lock, but it's so strong and feels good in the hand even after 1 hour. I never had a stronger liner lock. Even my old Rat 1 failed. No shit. You had a Rat 1 fail. That's crazy. So the Real Steel H6. I can't think of what that is, but I'm damn sure going to go check it out now. Because liner locks, I mean, they're kind of hit and miss, right? Some liner locks are really strong. Some liner locks are stronger than others, and some not so much. But like the Rat 1, that's a strong liner lock. So for that to fail you, holy shit. Got a Cold Steel Voyager in my pocket at the moment. Bought it 20 years ago. A Voyager. Man, that's a big knife. 20, yeah, but you know, that's what I was just talking about. Like the Triad locks and back locks, those are the locks that are going to, you can just abuse the hell out of. They're made to be abused. They really are. And then through time, they only get stronger. So the Triad lock, for those of you that don't know, it's made to get stronger over time. It's not where like some locks, they get weaker over time because the spring starts becoming less and less strong. Like say on a liner lock, the spring is basically the liner, and over time it just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Now you can re-strengthen it, so I'm not saying you can't fix it, but the Triad lock, it's made where it it cuts into itself, and as time goes on, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and it just gets stronger and stronger. So if you're wanting to abuse the shit out of a knife and it hold up, you want a Triad Lock. There's no doubt about it. Mass drop and Trezola CTF in the liner is failing. Really? So two things about that. One, you can fix that. Like you can probably fix it. You can probably strengthen the liner. That's one way. So you can take it apart, bend the liner over a fraction. I'm talking about a tiny bit, because what it's probably doing is it probably doesn't have enough pressure under the tang of the blade, and it's probably sitting at the same spot every time, and it's when you put pressure, it pushes it out. But if you give it a little bit more strength, it might bite into this material that's farther into the or actually it'd be like this, where it'll bite into this part a little bit stronger. You could try that. That might work. I heard of somebody having a custom one, and they had to send it into Trezola. Trezola fixed it that day. It's had it back within a couple days. Thumb studs are gone, and the clip got broken off on your Voyager. Still trucking though. It's the most heavy knife. Gets just smoother and smoother, so I need to tighten the pivot because it is too smooth. Is that mass drop a titanium? Yes, it is. That is a titanium liner. So that's what I'm saying. If you strengthen the liner, because it's titanium, it doesn't have a steel insert. It's the same one I got. I guess it'd be the same one I got. That Lavender Pants gave me. The titanium will lock up on the steel if you give it a little bit more pressure. So you just might have to take it apart and bend it over just a tiny bit. Don't bend too much though, just a tiny bit. That's all it takes. So many people over push it. It's so old it's pinned. They didn't use screws back in the day. Damn. Sounds like Jack needs to get a new knife. Hey, listen, hey, there's nothing wrong with killing a knife, right? With having the same damn knife every day in your pocket for 20 years. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what else there's nothing wrong with, Jack? Getting a new knife. There's nothing wrong with that either, bud. Steel toe Z83s are two versions, hollow and flat. The hollow grind is the thinnest behind the edge I have. I don't know what that is. Steel toe. Oh, you're talking to steel toe. Okay. I didn't even see him. Okay. The Voyager liners are heat treated for extra strength. Did not know that. Okay. The thing is also the geometry of the lock face. All of the liner is touching the blade tang. So you can't push it in for any farther? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that the liner has nowhere else to go? If that's the case, that sucks, because then there's nothing you can really do. I will say this, though. Sometimes, check if it's centered or not. Because if it's not centered and it's like really off, you might just need to take it apart and put it back together. I've seen where knives don't lock up right because they're not put together right, and like, I don't know, maybe the bottom screws are coming out, and so like one side of the frame is tilted, which then in return makes the blade tilt. I don't know if that's the issue, but hopefully you can take it apart, push the liner over, and see if it'll get some bite. If not, then you might just have to get a new knife. I don't know if they'll take care of it. I would try to get a hold of, because Drop does it. What is it? It's Drop and Trezola. Terzola's the designer, so he has nothing to do with it. I think We makes them, right? We makes them, so you might have sent it into We. Maybe. I don't know. I'm new to this hobby and have not yet spent over $100 on a knife. I'm pretty much just a collector at this point. What should be my first foray into the $100 to $150 market? In my humble opinion, you want to ask one question. So, do you want USA or do you not care? If you don't care whether it's USA or not, then you need to ask, do you want a good warranty? Stuff like that. Now, there are good Chinese companies that have good warranties. But the Hogue Ritter RSK, that's a damn good knife for 150 bucks. The Benchmade Griptilian, that's a damn good knife for 120 bucks. Now you can get the G10 version for like 180, I think. Um, if you want a smaller knife, you can go with like the bug out, the Benchmade bug out, or you can move into like Wii categories and get a Wii knife. There's a lot of knives between the $100 and $150 range. It even gets better between the 120 and 180 range. That's a really good market. But I'd go with like the Hogue Ritter, something like that if I was you, probably. That's 150 though. So if you want more towards the $100 range, depends on your materials. Like if you're gonna ask me, like I want a titanium knife for 100 to 150 bucks, I would tell you to go with like a Tucson or something, or a Kaiser. If you said I don't like titanium, I want an axis lock, I'd tell you to go with Hogue or Benchmade. If you want like a compression lock, Spyderco, or if you want G10, so depends on the materials you like too. There's so many knives, man, so many. You got thousands of knives, so that's a hard answer. No, it's perfect. Oh, okay. So the lock almost seems like it needs to be refaced. The liner over travel and gets badly stuck. Yeah. See that if we're still talking, are we still talking about the that drop knife? If it over travels, then yeah, it has no place to go left, so you might just need a new damn knife. If it had a lock bar insert, they could just replace the lock bar insert and fix that. That's the one problem with just a titanium liner without a steel lock bar insert, is that once they over travel, there's nothing you can do. I'm going to try to take it apart and bend it a little. Oh, there you go. I started after etching the blade. I didn't etch the lock face. Ooh, yeah. Make sure you don't etch the lock face. If you do etching on any steel or any blade, make sure you put nail polish on the lock face, on the pivot, where the washers or bearings slide. Make sure the detent track hit all of that with nail polish. But yeah, I would try bending it over. Just bought the TS 264, should be here on Wednesday. Lindy and I are going to do a first impressions on the channel. Stoked to check it out. That is awesome. That is so awesome, Richie. Hell yeah. Now, am I correct when I say, is that the new one with thumb studs? That's the new one with thumb studs, right? Richie? Yeah, Chris Wolf shows up every time. EDC Journey. He don't fuck around like you. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Everybody around the pivot was covered. Yeah, that's good. Then that's you want to make sure anything that has contact with anything is covered. I was just typing question. Yes, it is. Damn, Richie, you beat me. So you were the motherfucker that outbid me. I was bidding on that one. I really wanted to get it. Damn, man. That's awesome. Good for you, man. You know who else has got it coming? Lavender Pants. Lavender Pants has got it too. Both you motherfuckers got it. Awesome. That looks like a good one because I've only seen a couple Tucsons with thumb studs, and they have the thumb stud, and it also locks up as the stop pin. I think that's awesome that they're doing stuff like that, right? That's so cool. Tucson is, man, they're killing it, guys. I know I just did that Tucson versus everything video, but I just might do the Tucson versus the Koenig areas, just versus, straight up, head to head. That might be a good video. I don't know. I was thinking about doing, I know I did show it in the one video a little bit, but I'm talking about just straight up across the board of all the categories. Best grind, best, everything, Leave the 195 out. I got it on the secondary, brand new in the box for a good price. Nice. That's awesome. I seen somebody selling one that that messed up and needed to get rid of it really quick because that one's going for a lot. I've seen that one go over 200 bucks. You can get it on Ali, I think, for 165. But on eBay, man, they're going between 165 and like I seen one go for like 220 or some shit, 250. I don't even remember. That 264 has a big old blade on it. I got another 7.2 Suns on the way after last night. I need help. Anyone have a Spyderco Tusk they want to make a deal on? Jack Nemo is asking. Anybody got a Spyderco Tusk? I don't even know which one that one is. The Tusk. Spyderco Tusk. Maybe I should look it up. What knife was I going to look up earlier? I don't even remember now. Somebody told me it was a Real Steel H6, right? I'm looking it up right now while we're all on here. Let's do this. I wish I could just show it to you guys. Maybe I can. Real Steel H6, right? Let's see what this thing looks like. Oh, you know what? It kind of reminds me of a big rat. That's kind of what it reminds me of. I'm going to show it to you guys. I don't know if that's a good picture or not, but I don't know. It's not just like the rat, but it's a lot like the rat. All right, let's go back to where we were. All right, guys, we've been on here for like 2 hours. We have 30 people still here, man. I hate leaving when there's so many people here because I love hanging out with you guys. Jared, how do you take your 440C grit-wise? That'll help my video. I find that 440C does good just about anywhere. I've put mirror polished on them, and they've done really good. But personally... Oh, hey, Chris Wolf. Happy Sunday to you too, brother. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's awesome. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it looks bigger than the rat one. It does look bigger than the rat one, but I'm just saying, like, it has that resemblance, kind of, you know. A little bit taller belly. It, you know, looks like a bigger, tougher version of the rat one. The ergos definitely look different. I wasn't saying it was just like it. So, 440C. I like it, dropping shit. I like it about 800 grit, maybe 1200 the most. I've put mirror polishers on there, and they've done very well. I like 440C. 440C does good across the board. It really does. But I like, you know, some bite. So between 600 grit and 1200 grit is probably my zone, personally. I just got a TRM Atom, and it has ignited me love for thumb studs. Yeah, it's got some good thumb stud action, doesn't it? It does. That Atom is sweet. Very sweet. Any word on Tucson's S110V? Any issues? I know their S90V has some heat treating issues originally. Yeah, you know, their M390 and their S90V has had some issues. I don't know about their S110V, but I'm pretty sure you can guarantee it's not. This is the thing, and this is with any company, okay? Excuse me. People need to realize this, that every damn company, when they first start using a new steel, that doesn't do good, right? They just started using it. They're not doing cutting performances on it. They're testing it enough to say that it's holding an edge, right? It's doing good. It's not chipping, whatever, and they sell it. You know, they're not doing edge retention tests. But then you can be guaranteed, though, that Tucson is watching, right? They don't say nothing. They don't show up on any comments or anything like that, but they're watching. And you know they are because they're always fucking listening. Like, say with their clips, right? Everybody hated their clips. Bam, they changed them. Everybody started saying, get rid of D2, use 14C28N. Bam, they started doing that. Like, they're consistently doing what we're saying we want. So if the S110V is an issue, they'll work on it. They really will. Just like the S90V and the M390. They're in that zone right now of where they're working on it. So I'm not saying you're going to buy a new one and you're going to get, the best performance, but it's not going to be as bad as it was when they first got it. So they're, in testing phases of doing a better job. Tucson is watching everything. They've got cookies on all of us. Did you see the Tucson is doing M398? What? They have it on a new slip joint. Hope they do it on more models. No other companies are using that to my knowledge. I don't even know what the fuck that is. M398. I'm guessing it's like another version of M390. You know what would be cool is if they are using it and for some reason they're getting great performance out of it, at least better performance in their M390, maybe they just go across the board and use that instead of using the M390. Because the M390, it's all right. I don't think it's bad. It's just not as good as other M390s. But I see it getting better. I really do. Their 14C28N is killing it. They're doing a killer job on that. Their S90V, not so much. It's not horrible, but it's not good. And I just talked to somebody that was saying that they did some cut tests, and the new S90V did way better than their old stuff. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think right now they're just in the transition of working on it and getting it better. Put it this way. Even Tuya, right? You guys remember this? The Tuya knives, their M390, came back under, right? They said that it was like 60 HRC. It came back at like 57 or something like that. I think they said it was between 58 and 60, and it came in under. What did they do? They dealt with it. They dealt with it, and now their HRC for their M390s hitting like 60, between 60 and 62. So I think it's like hitting right around 61, if I'm correct. But point is that they're dealing with it. Especially now since they know motherfuckers are testing the shit. They know that they're being held accountable, which is good. That's why I loved it when I seen everybody doing the cut test, the heat treat test, and doing all that shit. Hold these motherfuckers accountable. Because if you're going to tell me, oh man, it's an M390 knife for $350. Why does it cost $350? Because it cuts for so long, right? Then I get it and it doesn't. Now, you can't tell me now that, oh, well, I can fix it and I can give you M390 that'll cut forever, but it's going to cost more. And the reason why it's not cutting that much is because it'll cost more for me to make it better. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm buying M390 at a more expensive price because it's supposed to cut better. You know what I mean? Not because it's supposed to be just like S35VN or something. So you can't tell me now it's going to cost more to do it better. Like I heard that across the board. Some people saying like that, oh, well, they can't do it that good because it will cost more. No shit. That's why they charge so much for it. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. BJ Hill has your custom M398 right now, says Steel Toe. Man, I'm curious what that steel is. Yeah, M390 is doing awful across the board. Some companies are doing okay, but like I said in that one video, I wasn't just knocking Tucson. Everybody is fucking doing a bad job with M390. So for people to come on and say, yeah, I heard Tucson's doing a bad job with their M390, yeah, so is everybody else. So is everybody else. Way better than the red one. I love the red one. Yeah, I need to get some more real steels on this channel, like the H6 stuff like that. I've had some real steel on the channel, but I need to get more. Spyderco is the only one doing M390 decent right now. Yeah, and at first they weren't. So they weren't. They realized it. They realized, that they were not doing a great job. They probably thought they were, though. I'm not saying that they knew that they were doing a bad job. No company, I think, goes out saying, we're going to do a bad job. They all thought they were doing a good job. Then they find out, wow, we're doing bad. This looks bad. Let's do something about this. And then they do. And Spyderco, yeah, Spydercos are doing pretty good. There's other companies that are doing okay. They're not doing great, but they're doing okay. you know. There is that happy medium mark, but I did see, check this out. I seen a test. I have no idea. I do not remember who did it. So don't ask me what place where it was on. But they were testing M390 versus another steel, which was like more of a budget steel. And the M390 was heat treated up really high. But what happened was it started chipping. So I can't say like whether or not the heat treat was good, but it was a high HRC. It had been tested, and it started chipping, and the other steel wound up outperforming it. That was more of a budget steel because it wasn't chipping. So there's always a happy medium spot. How was Hinder's M390? You know, I don't know. I have no idea. I would imagine it's better than others because they're still a production company, but they do it on smaller batches. So I would imagine they're better than most, but I don't know. I have no idea. I sharpened it, and it sharpened really good, but I didn't do cut tests. So I can say it sharpened really good, it felt really good, it deburred really good, it felt good. But I can't say how the cutting performance would go on how many cuts, kind of test. Yeah, I would imagine that it's doing better, just talking about Hinder, than most. Outpost 76 does great cut tests. Yes, he does. Outpost 76, even Super Still Steve, I know he's probably not in here no more, but he was doing cut tests for a while. Lots of you guys can go back to his cut tests. I know he hasn't done them in a while, but he was doing them, and he helped, basically bring the notice to us, or the acknowledgement to us, that these companies are not fucking doing what they're saying. And so is Outpost 76. There was a few people that were doing it, and it's something that's great in the community. I love when I see cut tests. Cut tests make me feel good that there's somebody. I don't mind that they do bad, right? I care about what they do about it. Like if somebody outs them saying, dude, your shit's cutting like shit, you're not getting no performance, well, then they better have a good response to that. Kind of like Tuya did. Tuya had a great response. And other companies didn't, So it depends. And some steels are harder to heat treat, and they shouldn't be doing it. Maybe they should go to an easier steel. But the thing is that we're fucking nutcases, right? We're all nutcases. We want to see that damn number, right? We want to buy it and say, man, okay, like say they sell you a Gale Bradley, let's say, in 440C. This 440C, this isn't 440C, by the way, this is M4, but I'm just talking shit. Say they give me a Gale Bradley in 440C with the best heat treat ever. The best heat treat ever. And I say, no, man, it's not worth it. I want M390. So then what do? They're going to put M390 on there because that's what we want. Even though the M390 is going to be shit and the 440C is going to be great. We got to get over that. We have got to get over that fucking number. Like of saying, oh, it says M390. Ooh, yeah. It's got to be good, right? It's got to be good because it's M390. No, it's not. Just because it says it does not mean it's good. And we're finding that out so much. And that's not just with M390. Look what Outpost 76 just did on S35VN on Artisan's knives. That did horrible. Horrible. I saw Triple B stuff on the new steel. Do all steels get better after a couple sharpenings? Most do, because the factory burns the edge. You can kind of see a burnt edge. Not always, but when you look at the edge, right? When you buy a knife, it's got a factory edge on it. Look right above the edge. If you see white or brown, so it can be white or brown, usually brown, but kind of like a goldish color above the bevel, you know that motherfucker's burnt bad. Like, it's burnt. But most edges, they're done at high-speed belts, and they're not wet. So when you sharpen on a belt, it should be wet because it brings down the temperature and the heat. So it burns the edge. So what happens is the first part of that edge where they sharpen it is burnt a little bit. Kind of like you know, anything. You fucking burn a steak, burn a cake, you know. It's fucking not going to be good on the edges. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. So after you sharpen it back a little bit, it gets back to that good steel that's not burnt. Um, did you hear about that new steel that's 45% TIC, supposed to be able to be ran at really high HRC, and is going to be the new edge retention king over Rex 121? And then Doug says, I saw triple B stuff on the new steel. I have not seen that. That's awesome. I love seeing like new steels and new shit like that. It's like, you know, I'm obviously, you know, all about this shit, so I love seeing that stuff. I already said that. You know our real steel Griffin, buddy. I love mine so much. It never leaves my pocket since 1.5 years. That's awesome. It's holding up good, though? Because I know I've used the heck out of my Griffin. That's one of the best button lock knives for the budget that I've seen. There are a lot of not a lot. There's a bunch of button lock knives out there. Some do great, some don't. ProTech does them really good. I love the Griffin. What else was there? There's a few of them that are really good. Whatchamacallit's got his coming out. Blade Banter, he's got his coming. That's a good button lock. The prototype had a little tiny bit of play, but that's a prototype that's been banged around to 30 people and beat the shit out of him. So, I love my CPM 20 CV Hinder XM18 3.5 spear point. I always heard M390 was the same. It is. 20 CV, M390, and 204P. They're all the same. It's just like a different patent. Like there's, what is it? 20 CV is, or no, wait. Yeah, 20 CV is the USA version. M390 is, I don't know, European version or something, I don't know. And then 204P is another. So it's just, you know, the difference in places. A lot of people go 3 to 4 sharpenings, Josh, to get past the burnt stuff. Yeah, that's usually where they see it go away. Is usually like every edge you're gonna get a little bit better performance, and so about 3 to 4 sharpenings in, what I can do if I notice a burnt edge, like it's not that big of a deal to me to get rid of that burnt edge right off the bat. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, say if I do one sharpening, right? If I do one sharpening, now my next sharpening might last, say, 15 cuts better, right? But do I really care about getting rid of that steel for that 15 cuts? I personally don't. So I'll just do my first sharpening, a good sharpening. And I won't try to take off 4 edges or anything. I'll just do one good sharpening and then just go with it. And when it gets dull, I'll sharpen it again. That way I don't have to remove steel that I want, you know, that I can use. I can use it, you know. Being a steel snob is like being a brand snob. It's true. But a real steel snob, okay? So this is where people, I think, get confused. This is just my opinion. A real steel snob won't be a steel snob on the number. They'll be a steel snob on the performance, on, would like say Boss Heat Treat for 440C or 420, whatever, does better than others, so that's what they'll want. Or like say a steel that like 14C28N does really good across the board. Almost everybody does it good because it's easy to heat treat. It was made for pocket knives. It's easy to heat treat. So like M390 will be hit and miss depending on what company. So a true steel snob will know that. And will, you know what I mean? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like a real steel snob will go for the heat treat and the performance, not for that number. Imagine coming soon. Would love to get my hands on ProTech Malibu. Blade HQ has some new batch of them coming soon. 204P is Carpenter, M390 is Bowler, and 20CV is Crucible. There you go, Richie. Or there you go. Thanks, Richie. Which one's the USA? 20CV is the USA M390 or USA's version. I don't know why I said it like that, but USA's version is 20CV. I'm pretty positive. Little thick behind the edge, but okay. Learn to sharpen, enjoy every steel. Yeah, that's another thing. That's what I like. That's the kind of steel snob I am. There are steels I don't like say 8CR. I'm not a big fan of it. It's okay, you know, depending on the price and stuff. But anything under that, I don't like because I know they can do so much better for the same price, right? Like say if you tell me, oh, it's a $40 knife and it's got 3CR. Fuck you, right? You should have put something way better on there. You're just ripping me off. You don't think I know my steels at that point. There are points of where they're trying to get over on you. But there's steels that are, say, a lower grade steel, like say more of a budget steel. But they're easier to strop, easier to sharpen, and they might be stronger. So they might serve you better than, say, a more high performance steel. So sometimes that's great because I like, say, after work, right? I come home, I've used my knife 15 times today. I come home, lay my strop down, and that edge comes right back. Nice and, I mean, just perfect. Now I come home with a more high performance steel, and I've used it a bunch of times, and I got little nicks. I can't strap out. I gotta hone it. So it depends. Depends on what you want to do. I don't mind honing, but when I hone, this is how I do it. When I come home, I'm not going to do it on the knife I just sharpened. You know what? I actually got to hone this. So when I come home and I want to hone, say this. Say I've been using this. This is what I do. I get my bottle of soap and water, and I get my ceramic stone. And I put my soap and water on there. And this is if a strop doesn't work. Find my angle, and I hit it on my ceramic, back and forth. You can also keep a factory edge going for a long time. Say if you have a factory edge, and you want to keep the factory edge. Maybe because you might want to resell the knife later, or maybe you just want to keep it the steel as long as you can. Maybe you're the type of person that says, I only want to sharpen it as little as possible. So I want my steel to go as far as I possibly can. You know, then you can hone your edge. I'm not sharpening right now, I'm honing. So now, oh yeah. That thing is super slick, super good, and now I'll hit it on the strap. So then, I'm only going to do a few passes though. I don't want to ruin the edge. There we go. Very nice. Now, if I want to go a step further, I can grab my sapphire and do the same damn thing. I can do the same damn thing on the sapphire. And now I'll be able to make an edge go for a long time. I mean, a really long time, as long as I don't get any chips. If you get a chip, if the chip is still attached and it's just like say if this is your edge, it's just chipped out a little bit like that, you could take your ceramic and push it back in place, if that makes sense. So you got to chip out like that. You get your stone and it pushes it back to true. Eventually it's going to chip off and you're going to have to do a full sharpening, but you can keep your edge going as long as possible. And sometimes I like to do that, especially after I put my edge on it. Say I put my damn edge on it. I love my edge. It's nice and sharp, but I want to use it. Now, I don't want to remove steel that I don't have to. So after the day's up, I'll come back, I'll strop it. Now, if I did a harder day, I'll come back, I'll hone it, and then I'll strop it. I'll keep an edge going for a damn long time, a long damn time. For experience to sharpen, yes, HCR. Student views, okay. Haven't had to sharpen my paramilitary too yet from that exact method right there. Yeah, exactly. You can keep that fucker going for a long time. You don't have to sharpen every time your knife gets dull. Hone it. Honing will keep your edge going for a long, long time. long time, unless if it's really chipped, like bad. And then that's up to you now if that chip is going to bother you so much that you're willing to do a full sharpening on it. Me, I usually am. I'm usually crazy like that. Yeah, I like my S30V more than other steels. A quick strop and good to go for the next day usually. Yeah, S30V is not a bad steel. I just don't like it at a high grit. It gets too slick. Unless if the edge is laid back and so on and so forth. That whole big thing. 8CR 18 MOV, 8CR 13 MOV, they're okay steels. They're not bad steels. They're just, this is the thing. Every year we get better, right? Steels get better. The prices go down, stuff like that. So there is a point of which they're ripping you off, right? So if I can go, and I'm not talking about the difference between USA and Chinese. I don't care if it's from the US or China. If I'm getting two knives and they're both China, right? One's selling me a knife that has 8CR for 40 and another one's selling me D2 or 14C28N, whatever. Then the other company is giving you less for your money. And at a certain point, they need to catch up. They need to catch up with technology, you know, because some budget steels are okay because of their performance. They have good performance still. 8CR is kind of at the bottom of the barrel where it doesn't have good performance. It's not that great of a steel. It's okay, but compared to say 440C, 14C28N, 12C27, D2 sometimes, stuff like that, N690, LC200N, VG10, 154CM, compared to all those, it ain't shit. And all those steels are not super steels. So it's not like you're getting a steel that's hard to sharpen, that you need diamonds for, that holds an edge for a long time. None of those steels do that. But they're all great performing steels that you can get for the same price as a lot of companies sell you 8CR for. So that's just my opinion on the 8CR thing. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy sharpening, so it doesn't really matter the steel. I love them all. But I'm talking about value right now more than just sharpening and using. I'm just talking about like the best bang for your buck. To some people, 8CR is probably just fine. That's why I said it's okay. You know, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it. I'm talking about the company that can get you and put a better steel on that blade for the same price they're selling 8CR to you for. That's all I'm saying. S35VN also is really easy to sharpen. It is easy to sharpen. S35 is easy. S30V is maybe a tiny bit more difficult, but S35 is easy to sharpen. S30V, I feel like every steel's easy to sharpen. They just take more time. Like, with diamonds, every steel's easy to sharpen. I haven't found a steel yet that's been hard to sharpen. I've found steels that take longer. And I have found steels, get this, that don't like diamonds. I can still sharpen it, but when I use an aluminum oxide or a natural stone, that sharpens it faster and easier than diamonds. So certain stones do better on certain steels, and you want to make sure you, or you don't have to, because anything will sharpen your steel. It's not that it won't sharpen it, it's just how good it sharpens it, and how crispy the edge is, stuff like that. And at a certain point, you know, if you're just wanting a sharp knife, anything will sharpen it. It's just you gotta spend more time. Like, check this out. This stone right here, what was it? I don't know if it was 10 or 20 bucks, right? This is a fucking cheap stone. I think it's India on one side and then aluminum oxide on the other. It's basically a coarse and a medium. This cut's good. I can sharpen anything on this. It does get glazed pretty quick though. I'll say that. It does get glazed. Everyone enjoying your Sunday? Time for me to cut out, Jared. Keep it up. Thanks. I know I'm still a nut. Thanks, Breeze. Love you, brother. Thanks for coming through. But this one, like I said, this thing's like 20 bucks, but this will cut just about anything. I've done M390 on this, It took a little bit longer than my diamonds, but it still sharpened it, but it glazes fast. So you want to keep it clean because it does glaze, and glazing makes it to where the stone is not biting no more. It's more slicker. So you want to make sure you keep it conditioned. That's what the flattening stones are good for, though. Yeah, I'm about to cut out too, guys. We've been here for 2.5 fucking hours, and I would go, if I keep going, I'll go all fucking day with you guys. So don't tempt me. I love you guys. Let's just cut out here. I'm having too good of a time, and I will wind up being here all damn day. Thinking about getting the DMT course and 3 Spyderco ceramic stones. Should I get all 4? I think the DMT course is a good stone. I do. Oh, you just came in, Mark? Okay, I'll go for a couple more minutes just because Mark came in. Diamond stones. Yes, I think you should get a diamond stone. The 3 ceramic stones. Now, the 3 ceramic stones, remember, they're not the same. Okay, so the DMT is going to sharpen completely different than the ceramic. Now, you can go from the diamond to the ceramic. That's not a problem. It's just, but the way you sharpen is different. The diamond, you want to use no pressure, and it's going to cut fast. The ceramic, you have to use pressure, and you have to feel it more. Like, you really have to feel your angle. If you're not good at feeling when you're on your bevel, the ceramic can do bad. Like, that's where I messed up on it in the beginning, was because I wasn't able to hold my angle perfectly flat on that stone. When you can hold your angle perfectly flat, a ceramic is one of the best. But when you can't, it's hard because you have to put pressure. So it's hard to hold an angle and put pressure at the same time. But you can get great results as long as you can do that. Love your vids, bro. Constantly learning. Never seen such laser focus watching someone like you. Wait, like you get lost sharpening. You don't blink. I'm blinking all over the place. What are you talking about? Spyderco has a new CBN. Yeah, somebody was just talking about that a little bit ago. I did not know that. And now I'm very interested. I also learned something from Steve about the CBN, the Neeves that I have right here. He was saying that, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but on the side here, it says 240 and 400. So this is 400, this is 240, okay? But next to it, it says 50/40, and then over here it says 20. Wait, did I say it right? Yeah, 20/14. And he says it's basically saying that like the 240 is more like a 400, and then like the 400 is more like a 1200 or something like that. Because I was saying that basically that the 400 sharpens fast, but it looks like a 1200 grit edge on the CBNs. Now, a diamond 400 grit compared to the 400 grit on that, it's way more aggressive. That one's way more finer. Even though they do cut fast, kind of, they also cut slower than diamond. So, even though they're still diamond, I mean, the CBNs cut slower than the diamond plates, but they still cut fast. They don't feel like they're cutting as fast. If you go back to the beginning of the video, I sharpened the Gale Bradley on the CBNs. And I talked about how they cut quick, but they don't feel like they're cutting as quick as they are. Gotta get to go. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here too. DMT diamond sharpener, it's not so great. If you have really hard steel, okay, but if not, buy a standard stone, maybe with 2 sides and a cheap leather and mirror finish. DMT diamond. I just got the Lansky Combo 4-pack that comes with the medium diamond stones, and it cuts so much better than the 70 grit. Are you talking about like the Lansky stones like these? Or are you talking about a plate? I like these little diamond stones. I got the medium, the coarse, and I think I have the fine. I like them. I'll use them like this. I'll literally, just like this, right by my face so I can see everything. I like using them, especially on recurves. Love it. Yeah, so that's what these are. The ones for the system. All right, guys. Yeah, hold on. Wait, one more second. The Neeves stones used for the FEPA grit rating system. Almost everyone else's uses GIA's grit rating system. Okay, so I know nothing about that, but that's basically what Steve was saying, and that's what I need to learn next, is the different rating systems. To me, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. All those little words and stuff like that doesn't matter. What matters is how it works, the performance, and like if until I experience it, how am I gonna know the difference, right? So, all right, guys, love you guys. Peace out. 25 to Knife is in the house right when I'm ending this. Thank you for coming through. I don't know how long you've been here. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody. Jason, Chris, everybody who's been here. Lion, Kirk, Steel Toe, everybody. Chris Wolf, everybody who's been here. Thank you so much. I love all you guys. Peace. Now I gotta shut this bitch down while you guys are on the tape.